Alright, it's Barry, and today I've got my selection of the most amazing flower seeds that you can sow right now in April. It's April, and that means that it's one of the most important months of the year for getting all of your flowers, fruits and vegetables on the way to providing you with some amazing looking and brilliant tasting plants all the way through summer, autumn and even into winter. And since there's so many seeds to sow this month, I thought it'd probably be better to split them up into a couple of smaller videos. And this video is specifically my selection of flowers to sow this month, but it's absolutely not a definitive list. There's so many different seeds that you can sow this month, so go and have a look at all of those seed packets and get your favourites growing to add some summer colour to your garden. This month I'm starting off with my favourites for a change, and that is sunflowers. And the first thing that comes to mind with sunflowers is that they're tall and yellow, but sunflowers can have deep crimson, red, orange, white and even green flowers with loads of different colour combinations and patterns in between. Annual sunflowers bloom from summer into autumn, and depending on the variety they can take around 11 to 18 weeks to flower from when you sow your seeds. So it's really good idea to do a sowing every couple of weeks to keep a constant supply of flowers going right through until late summer. I like to grow Red Sun, Claret F1, Russian Giant and Vanilla Ice varieties, and sunflowers are one of the easiest plants to grow from seed, and they can grow to heights of up to 2 or 3 meters, so they really are great flowers for kids to get involved with because they're one of those plants that grow so fast that you can see the difference every day. And they can even set up a bit of a growth chart and measure how tall the plants are as they grow. To grow sunflowers you need a sunny sheltered spot on good soil, and don't forget to protect your young plants from slugs and snails because they'll munch all of the sweet and tasty leaves. And water your sunflowers frequently as well, and you can also give them a weekly feed, and as they grow taller you might need to stake them or fix them to a nearby support just to stop them from falling over in the wind. Have a good look at the available varieties. Some of them will grow up to 50 centimeters tall while others grow up to 3 meters tall, so make sure you have enough room for your variety as well, and sow your seeds in pots from April and they'll be ready to plant out once you all risk of frost past, and that's not going to come over and just kill everything. Next up I've got nasturtiums, and now that we're warming up a bit they're perfect for sowing straight into the ground wherever you want them to grow and flower. All you need to do is keep on top of clearing the weeds and nasturtiums will grow like crazy even just in average soil. To sow your nasturtiums, make some 2 centimeter deep drills and lightly sprinkle the seeds in, and then just cover them back over with your soil. Or my tip for direct sowing seeds is to cover them over with a bit of compost, as this not only provides your germinating seedlings with all the nutrition that they need, but it also provides you with an indicator so you can see where all your seeds have been sown, making picking out all those little weeds a bit easier if you're not sure which ones are which. I tend to just mix together loads of different packs of nasturtiums because I just sow them everywhere and I like them to just be mixed up. I've got Purple Emperor, I've got Empress of India and some others that I can never remember the name of, and maybe there's something to do with peaches or something, and yeah, they're forever going to be a mystery, but hopefully they'll be producing a mix of orange, yellow, red and purple, and I assume peach coloured flowers all the way through summer. The petals from nasturtiums are also edible and extremely tasty. They're perfect for adding to your summer homegrown salads for a strong peppery flavour, and it'll level up all of your leafy greens to restaurant level flavour. Next up is marigolds, which are almost a staple flower to grow if you're growing tomatoes because they're the #1 tomato companion flower. There's so many different varieties of marigold, and the good news is that they're usually really cheap as well. So I've seen them for like 25p a pack in Wilko, I got them for 20p a pack in Lidl, and they're like 99p a pack online. So there's really no need to spend loads of money on top branded marigold seeds because they're super cheap and easy to find. Start them off in a tray or a pot filled with some damp compost or your preferred potting mix. Sprinkle your marigold seeds over the top and then just cover them over with a thin layer of soil. Cover your pot or your tray with a lid or a plastic cover and then just keep them in a nice warm place until they germinate. Marigolds usually take 3 to 4 days to germinate, but sometimes they can take quite a bit longer depending on the variety, so they are definitely one that you need a bit of patience with. Once your marigold seedlings do appear, remove your propagator lid and then just put the tray somewhere with plenty of light to give your seedlings loads of growth boosting photons. Once they're big enough you can transplant your marigolds between your tomato plants to protect them from root knot nematodes that lurk in the soil, and they can damage your tomato plant's roots, so they really are great to grow together, especially if you're growing tomatoes directly in the ground rather than than using pots or grow bags. One of the most environmentally beneficial things you can do in your garden or allotment is sow mixtures of wildflowers, and this is where I can really give you a shopping list of flower varieties to mix together and sow all at once. Starting with the two most common additions to wildflower mixes, we've got poppies and cornflowers, which are a fantastic choice to grow for supporting pollinators such as bees and butterflies, which, as you're probably aware, is more important than ever as they become increasingly under threat, particularly now that the UK government have lifted the EU ban on the bee-smashing neonicotinoid pesticide thiomethoxam, which is risking damage to the environment and ecosystems everywhere for generations to come. I add my cornflowers and poppies to a pack of generic wildflower mix, which you'll probably already have them in anyway, but I also like to add oxeye daisy, viper's bugloss, sunflowers, dandelions and borage to the mix as well. And I think that was maybe 6 varieties that you can get into one easy mix and give your bees, butterflies and all the other less nice looking pollinators a top-notch summer boost. Next up is one of those plants that are an absolute nightmare for lawn enthusiasts everywhere, and that is the eternally appearing comfrey. Now, comfrey isn't the easiest plant to propagate from seed, but it is possible, and the seeds are easy enough to get hold of, but it's significantly easier to just find a plant, take some of the roots and then just plant it wherever you want it to grow. I've got tons of comfrey growing on my allotment, not on purpose, it just exists, and I don't think I could get rid of it even if I wanted to. But the specific variety of comfrey that we want is Symphytum officinale, which is a perennial flowering plant from the family Boraginaceae, and as you might have guessed, it's closely related to borage, which I've just mentioned in with the wildflowers. Comfrey is one of those old herbal remedy plants with loads of traditional names, so you might also know comfrey as Quaker comfrey, cultivated comfrey, boneset, nipbone or slippery root, which are all amazing names, especially nipbone and boneset, which sort of points to the idea that at some point it must have been believed that applying comfrey leaves to broken bones would heal them, which isn't fantastic since using it as a topical treatment or even just eating the leaves will have probably given them liver disease. So I suppose it's kind of worked by making one problem seem not as bad by making a different bigger problem. So luckily plants don't have bones or livers, so you can just pick your comfrey leaves and then stuff them into milk or drinks bottles, which you can then fill up with water, and then after 4 to 6 weeks you'll have gallons of the best and cheapest natural fertilizer that you can get your hands on. It's one of the worst things you'll ever smell in your entire life, but it is good stuff, and I can't emphasize that enough. It's absolutely horrific, and if you do try making some of your own comfrey fertilizer, make sure to wear some decent gloves because the leaves and the stems will irritate your skin as you're picking them. And of course, if you don't want this stuff eternally popping up everywhere in your garden, don't plant it in the first place. As well as all the seeds that you can start this month, there's also so many flower bulbs that you can plant and start growing. One of the most popular of these is lily bulbs, and lily bulbs are best planted in autumn, but you can also get them in during early spring. So maybe aim towards early April for getting these in if you do want to grow some for flowering this summer. There's loads and loads of different colours and sizes to choose from, and the best part about lilies is that they'll happily grow in pots and containers, so why not choose your favourites and then just make some great flower displays that you can easily move around your garden for maximum effect. You can plant a single large bulb into containers or pots up to around 20 centimetres wide, or if you've got smaller bulbs you can plant 3 or 4 of those in the same size pot. You just need 5 centimetres between each bulb. You can even leave your bulbs planted in your pots over winter and then get a second growing season from your bulbs next year. Just leave them out in winter and they'll be smashing. And finally, from a list of flowers this month is petunias, which are a selection of 20 species of colourful flowering plants from the Solanaceae family, which means they're closely related to tomatoes, potatoes and tobacco. Petunias are best grown from seed, and they're really easy to grow actually because you just need to treat them like your other nightshades. So if you're growing tomatoes, sow some petunias and then just treat them and feed them the same. The most important thing to watch out for with petunia plants is that they can grow really well in hot summers or just hot conditions in general, but even with the slightest amount of frost it'll just totally wipe them out. So it is really important to either keep them in a heated area until after your last frost, or just grow them in a pot or a container that you can bring inside. And then if you do have a late frost turning up, it's not going to spoil everyone's fun. Well, that's it for today. Hopefully there's a couple of ideas there for some really great flowers that you can sow, plant and grow in April to produce some brilliant summer and autumn flower displays. Let me know in the comments section which flowers you'll be starting to grow this month, especially if you've got any tips or tricks. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for a new video every Tuesday and Saturday with loads of ideas and projects to get the most out of your garden this year. I'll see you next time.